Welcome to the Real Double Dose Channel broadcast station, focused on the real reels of real life, love, growth, and of course, elevation within all levels. RDDC is exactly the place where anyone can discover more depth, love, light, and clarity within themselves, and elevate from other people's walks of life, conversations, and questions, along with deeper insights. So tune in and be a part of the Double Doses with Lexus T and RDDC.
Hello, everyone. This is your host, Lex. Okay, Lex Effect. I'm just saying Effect. Welcome back to being here with us on this platform for Real Double Dose Channel and anything else coming along with it. You heard the intro. You got it. Thank you for tuning in for all the stations and all the levels that you're on, all the downloads, all the plays, all the support, all the countries, all the cities. Yes, we feel you. And we're loving you. And I have a little bit more of that list that I'll be going through again because Mr. HVH on Mr. Heck versus Hell on Fridays that airs was asking me about that too. And thank you for your, amazingness, should I say. But I wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, good night. I want to say like the other lady does, konnichiwa, hola, bonjour, or something, bonsoir. I don't know what she says. But I want to just say it in all languages. Maybe I'll figure that out somehow too. But I wanted to get to some notes with everyone. And I know your girl's a little sporadic every once in a while, but life happens, you know? And at the end of the day, these notes, I'm just going to say this certain phone I'm using, expensive as it may be or have been, it's when you're doing your transcribing and I have to catch notes when they're coming out, I look at the words to like kind of read because I don't want to play it in my groggy quote sound, even though the toothbrush and the mouthwash didn't seem to wake my throat up, obviously, but water either. But I just wanted to give everybody something from it. So I know maybe a little choppy, but I was going to call this episode hashtag Breaking the Matrix. Now, this is going to be like leading on to the leading on to the leading on. It's all going to be simulated and connected to each other. So I could call it that as a foreground, but obviously if you're here right now, you're hearing the episode name itself, or you're seeing the episode name officially. So don't judge your girl, Lexus T, but I love you. I do. Te amo para siempre y te quiero mucho. Let's go. I'm going to read some of the choppy notes that I have because it's, serving a slice of everyday life is what RDC is all about, right? So bear with me. I probably wrote these down or spoke these up maybe like about an hour ago, I think. Maybe not even an hour ago. So yeah, I'm looking through it right now and I was kind of babbling on like, why do I do this? I can't, just complaining to the transcriber itself from my phone. But here's the point of what it's going to right now, I believe. Societal wise, right? I had to rewind this now, but it was about being able to fully put on, and getting into it. So right here, it's basically, what I have put down from the intel that I was downloading spiritually. We have to break into the spirit world. And from a retrospect point, it's not necessarily breaking into the spirit world, but it's to the point where we have the unveiling of what Christ desired for us to have, the coming upon what that is, right? And we know what we are. We have to be what we are. And here you are, pretty much. And there will be no limitations. I know it's hard to go without doubts when it's been in the bloodline for so long, but it's okay. So that things, I guess, or nature of who we are can be broken. And the other stemming to that is the bloodline itself, or why me, or what's in the blood. That's the conversation I wanted to have. So about how things stem from generation to generation, spiritual tracking, right? And that's one of the conversations we'll probably have next. So just bear with me on that. I don't want to mingle too much together. Now, I just want to say, now remember that this is all a whole 17-minute segment, I believe, recorded. So, on the notes, so I'm going from here. But think about that, right? If we're going to say breaking the matrix, I would say I like that, but I would say, not really control. I want to say it's something better to have it come, not just for the entitlement of it, but what is it though? Like what goes beyond that feeling? Like what goes in there to where we can stem ourselves and feel ourselves beyond the point of control. Like when Christ came to give that information, and listen, if this is a platform, I had to think about this for years, and I just want to say a disclaimer. People out here, I used to have to think, so I want to be able to have a general, and it's because a general platform of understanding God and speaking of God, how God works in the life and so forth. And so many so-called Christianity podcasts, so-called, speaking of this and that. I can't judge them all. I say so-called because I don't know their deep barriers. But I feel guilty for being that way because I know who fuels me and who stems me off. But I also wanted people to come in and not feel, quote, judged from a church with the people in the church, not the house of the church itself. When you walk in there and it's like, oh, what are you dressing? What do you like? Did you just graduate college? Trust me, I know. Church pews were something and church school was something I understood. So it's not to say it's against those things. The true church of God is always, present, but I'm just saying, like, it was to that point. But I want to let anybody know, if you don't want to hear it, it's not about encouraging you to believe that someone's a quote Bible fanatic. It's we need to get more scriptures out here, but it's to let you know, yeah, I am a God fanatic. I'm a fanatic over God of all things and what God puts in me and gives me and everything else, and I'm proud of it. And if you don't like the platform of what it serves, I'm sorry, baby, but you're losing out, not us. So I just want to put that out there. Nobody has really said any qualms about it. People have their own way. People want to see a judgmental way. Of if you believe in something, it's against what you want to believe and whatever else. That's on you. But I'm gonna get to a conversation. Thank you for hearing me out. But it's that point of it's beyond breaking the matrix. But Christ came to change that, right? To say, look, I have done these things, right? And if I can go back to what that was here, where we go. So getting to that is another of the two matrix is, I said, or societal wise, that's made from man's point of view, from their carnality. And there's another one where we have to break into the spirit world. So I've had put that in there. And it comes down to that. Like, think about that. The unveiling of what Christ meant to be like, hey, know, like, and trust. Know what you are, like what you are, and trust what you are. Yes, the KLT. Know, like, and trust. And they teach you this in marketing. They teach you this with any platform that you're going to have. Yeah, you want people to know about you. You want people to resonate and like what you have going on. Of course, if you build it, they will kind of come. And then trust. What does that lead on to? You're going to, hey, well, I like them, but do I trust them enough to buy ice cream from them or pass by the shop? Like, it all comes in there. Because why get to know someone if you're not going to want to get to like someone? And why get to like someone if eventually you have no trust in them at all? Like, I like you, but I don't trust you. It never can go anywhere. But from doing that within, when people hear, oh, all this stuff can be done, how can someone walk on water? How can Jonah be swallowed up by the whale? And then yet when it's on social media, oh, a guy gets swallowed up by a whale, but comes out, okay with his kayak. Oh, it's like, and I'm going to see if I can get his name here too. I have to depend on my phone for different things or the web, don't hate. Okay, so I don't know why that was open, but I believe his name was Roger Bannister. Born March 23rd, 1929, and I guess he passed March 2018. God rest his soul. Hey, that was actually a month before my sister passed. Wow. A month and a few days. Oh Lord, 2018 is an ugly year for me. I'm happy that it was here nonetheless. But when it comes down to Roger Bannister, Sir Roger Gilbert Bannister, was an English neurologist and middle distance athlete who ran the first sub 4 minute mile. Now, I believe that's where I'm going from. Mr. Roger Bannister, the late. But him even surpassing that, it couldn't be done. No one thought it could be done, but he did it. He surpassed that. So I have to go to those things in order to go to the right things. Like, why else would Christ come to do that though? Like, why would you just want to come to earth to say, oh, hey, you can do these things, believe, heal, love? Like, come on. It just freaking frustrates me because I think about it even deeper now and I'm thinking to myself, man, like, people ask the same thing of me and I understand it now. Now let's be real here. Be very clear, everyone. I've always been transparent with what I have to do. There's certain things you keep in and certain things you keep, to the side. I've been taught that. I know that sometimes it's too much, right? I have profanities that I'm a Heyoka by nature. I'm a seer by birth. So my empathic ways is like almost like we literally pick up on that. If you start messing with pepper on your food every day or adding let's say cilantro or some, oh, I grew up with that too. But I'm saying like, I say food because I love it and it's universal and especially the ones that vibrate to the soul. But I'm just saying we all connect to it, right? If you start adding cheese or queso to your food every day, and someone added to theirs, I'm like, that's kind of familiar. I'm okay. And then eventually you'll find yourself even beyond empathically. You'll start adding a little sprinkle of Parmesan, unless you have some kind of reaction or something to lactose, whatever. But whatever you want to resonate, the almond milk, it could be carrots, it could be broccoli, it could be, whatever, a donut under the sun. But, that's what it happens to me. So I know when it comes down to what Christ wanted, not beyond justification, but I have my flaws. This is Lexus C. Yes, the goddess part, the oracle part, the one that God put with his spirit in me specifically to the purpose I'm divine. Yeah, but I have my carnality as well. We have the human part of things. You might, from the resonance of what I'm saying is if I hang around a lot of sailor talking people, quote, quote, or people who just say it, the F word or this and this and that, it can become mingled in a part of your conversation or mingle on how you express things. So don't be surprised if you see me hit my leg or something or hit my foot and I'm like, dang, okay. But I just want to say that's not what I'm talking about for this factor, but it happens, to sit there and paint a picture of perfection, it's just not real. Yeah, you might catch me throwing away an extra bun that fell on the floor that you might just give the 5-second rule to. You might see me sitting there, deciding this piece of chocolate cake, for example, or some red velvet, instead of, oh, she didn't go for the salad. Oh, she got some extra curves on her. Why didn't she go for the salad and the grapes? None of your business, first of all. And second of all, I can do what I want. I know the blueprint to lose weight. I know the blueprint to gain weight. And if whatever day I fall on is what I'm doing, but I do know with all the stuff rolling out, I want to vibrate to what I have in our repertoire from our drinks to our foods and get that on a better scale. Everyone becomes an addict of their environment when you keep being exposed to the drug. Put it that way, right? People always question that too. Why is somebody on my 600-pound? Why can't they stop eating? I can't understand. Well, you don't understand. But so them waking up eating 7 pizzas in the morning for breakfast has been their addiction. Just like you maybe looking in the mirror, putting 20 layers of makeup on might be your addiction. Okay, let's be real about it. Somebody else putting on cologne and having to look swagged out, buying $100 t-shirts and knowing they can't afford their rent next month just to look a certain way for people who don't care to look anyway. Boom. Next subject. Let's go. I just want to say that is the different of humanity that I'm not trying to correlate to. But think about that. Christ came to let us know, hey, know, like, and trust who you are and what you are. I am the example. And people could say, well, that's God in flesh. He was going to be perfection. I thought that too. What do you mean? Temptation from the devil, everything. You're all knowing, but he had to strip those powers. Just like Clark was nothing without Clark Kent was not Superman. Even though he could transform with that cape, he still had to come in the quote, obviously replicated from a Christ factor where they got every story from. He had to come down here on the earth and be like, oh, well, hey, Clark, where'd he go? His glasses are off. His suit, I'm Superman. Okay, so at the end of the day, Christ decided to come, or the understanding of Christ, even from the beginning, the 7th day was given to rest after God created the world. Therefore, Christ got a chance, or they crucified Christ at that time. And think about the alignment of that. They crucified Christ right there, right before it was time to rest on the Sabbath. Resting on the Sabbath. 6 days shall I labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. And think about that. And people say, oh, well, it's Sunday. And we already know every denomination has bowed to understand that Saturday is the true day of the resting of. Now, Sunday, the Christ is risen. Absolutely. It still could be celebrated just the same. Friday, go entering into rest on the Sabbath, Sabbath, Saturday, Saturn, whatever, they say the planet thing. And then Sunday, Christ rose. You can celebrate Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, celebrate every day. It's not about denomination. It's not about Baptist, Protestant, Jehovah's Witness, 7-day. It's not about all that, okay? It's not about Mormon. It's not about any of that. It's the point that why, right? Know, like, and trust. Breaking free of the matrix, right? Understanding that point, if that's what we call it, know, like, and trust. Maybe that's what we'll call this one. Get to know yourself. Christ is saying, look, I got a chance to know myself. I got a chance to walk. And when his mother came in the Bible and asked when Christ had when they went on a journey to travel, he was a little bit older. And then they had lost him. It says, for quote me, because my mind's still stimulated for the morning. Hey, man, our son's been gone for 3 days. They had to go back and track their steps. And they found Jesus in the temples, being there. I gotta say preaching, teaching, learning, whatever it might be, right? On that cusp. I'm just saying. Don't get to that point of being there, dismissal, okay? So I had to kind of get that together for you, okay? I just want to have reverence and respect. But I know better. Pero the full chapter of it is Luke chapter 2, verse 41 through 52. It's about Jesus' parents' trip to Jerusalem for Passover when he was 12 years old and how they lost him and eventually found him in the temple. Yes, you heard that right. So Luke chapter 2, verse 41, let's go into it, right? It's the book of Luke, chapter 2. Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem every year for Passover. When Jesus was 12, they went to Jerusalem for Passover as usual. After the festival, Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem while his parents returned home. Luke chapter 2, 44. Okay, continues on. Just want to let you know I'm still here. His parents traveled on for a day thinking, okay, so I got 3 days. Anyway, by the time they got there and came back, it still was almost 3. So give me a minute. His parents traveled on for a day thinking he was with them and looked for him among their friends and relatives. When they couldn't find him, they returned to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, so I was right, they found Jesus in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking questions. Okay, not too far off. Everyone who heard Jesus was amazed at his understanding and his answers. His parents were astonished when they saw him. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." Luke chapter 2, verse 50 says, he asked them, "Why were you searching for me? Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" Luke chapter 2, verse 51. They did not understand what he was trying to say to them. Okay. And at the end of the day, do you not know I must be about my father's business? That's what it comes down to. My father's business. That's what it comes down to. What are you about when it comes down to that? So that's pretty much another version of it. So you can say the Bible just says, well, how is it that ye sought me? Wist ye, or wist ye, not that I must be about my father's business, that's another passage to say. So when we get to those cusps of having things happen, we get to understand that Christ came to become more than what people just, it is a royalty of a kingship in heaven here on, reflected down here on earth from the first Adam falling. We'll get into that in the next one, but I just want to say, why else come though? Like when people ask me the same thing, not to take the information off of Christ, Jesus Christ, Christ, Yeshua, Yahweh, blessed be their names, regardless of what you try to slap a title of. I'm talking about the origination of the only book that has ever existed to have its fullness of understanding creation or the path thereof. Why? Even when I do nice stuff, I get the nature, I get the doubts, I get that, right? It's just it's almost like the doubting itself comes in there. It's just, oh, well, I can't believe this. I can't believe that. I don't understand this. I don't understand that. And it gets to the point of where you just keep doubting and doubting and doubting, and the seed keeps getting planted and planted and planted. Okay? What that is know what you are, be what you are, and here you are. And there'll be no more limitations. And I know it's hard to get and go without the doubts when it comes to our bloodlines and so forth like that, because our parents could have felt that, and whatever else felt that moves on, and it stems through the blood to the which it is. The spirits track blood, right? The understanding of that, the bloodline, the curses, all that comes through the blood. And then you think about it to yourself, like, why do I feel this way? Why am I like this? What's going on? The other part of you that has centered upon you is okay, but then you wonder where these other paradigms and paradoxes come from. These characteristics of different things that you feel that are not a part of you. And a lot of those things, there'll always be a part of you, but they're the bloodline that carries on, that speaks to our ancestors, to the next, to the next, to the next. See, a promise that was supposed to be made 1,000 years ago, is still a promise that's going on from bloodline to bloodline to bloodline. And even if that person has 1 kid to 20 kids to whatever, it will be fulfilled. And if it's not, then God will figure out the way of what God wants to do. So we can look at it like, oh, well, yeah, my grandparents didn't do it, but I will. I'll be the first person to buy a house. Whatever you see your goal is, that's you. But whatever the purpose is, that's God. Right? You can have a goal to get a mansion, all this other stuff, but is it God's purpose? Not to see you poor or not to see you down and out, but is it just for what you want to see and what you want to paint? Or is it the truth of what will unfold because of it to bring you to greater heights than just material gains that you only are allowing yourself to see? So let me wrap this up. I'm just going to say, when it comes down to it, it is, it's the Christ sight. And no matter what you want to say, not just putting it to Roger Bannister or myself, when I do good things for people, because it makes me feel better as well, and I want to see people perpetuate. But it makes me feel, that's like I'm compelled to do it. I'm compulsing and pulsating just to do it because it just feels so right. Okay, I don't want to be wrong. I'm just saying, it does. It feels like, man, that's a part of me. That's an extra extension of me in this earth, in this universe. I want to be able to give to them the way I feel as well, God working and feeling through me, that love. Even if it's a tea kettle or a coffee pot or whatever it might be, I'm like, hey, here you go. I feel good to give. And I never look up to the sky thinking, oh, Lord, did you see me do that? Did you see that? No, I'd be like, man, I wish I could do more. But then I think there's so many more and much more to do for so many others as well. So you can't cap yourself up, but think about that. Why? You have to know, like, and trust to understand. Okay? To understand, know, like, and trust, to understand, to get to a point, to understand you are liberated with no limitations once you get there. Am I saying to jump off a cliff and just say, oh, I got the power? I got the power. Whenever I can't do my voice right now, I got the power. Right? You do have it, but common sense practices, you can see spiritofmindelevation.com. I'm just saying, and any other things you need to say, but common sense practices lets you know. I'm not saying any of these things for you to go out there and pretend you're Batman off of a building, or just going there, sticking your hand into a socket saying I can survive this electrocution. We're not saying any of that. Okay. What I'm telling you is, when we get to understand what we're here, who we are internally, to know, right? To like or love ourselves, right? I know, love, and trust, not just even like, love. To know ourselves and the God within, to love on that, which is a part of us, and to trust that, right? That's actually part one of it. You have to know, like, grow, and trust. Know, love, grow, and trust. So KLGT. Let's call it the hashtag KLGT. Know, love, grow, and trust. That is the journey of what I want to say. Maybe I'll just actually have a download for everybody on the Real Double Dose channel so you can get to have some more synopsis about that. I'm going to write that note down soon as I finish right now, because I believe Heck and I are going to be doing a TSMA episode. I'm not sure, but we'll get there after some oat milk and decaf coffee. But we'll get there and see what's going on. But I just want to say, know, love, grow, trust. Get to know that journey. Seek that out. Not cards and crystal bulbs and running over here and that. Well, like I said, any avenue I take, no, the right avenue that you take will get you to know the truth of what you are and who you're connected to and what's within you. And to that journey, you find true love, pure love, not through man, not through animals, not through this, not through the love of cooking and all this. It's likeness for that. The love that you feel amplified times quadruple trillion, quadrillions. It can't even be measured through what God has for us. Okay. Then you get to the growth. You get to the growth from the know and the love that you've already got a chance to encounter, and growing in it, growing within it, growing around it, surrounding yourself, spreading and giving it, pouring it out lavishly the way it's meant to be, not a doormat, but the door opening. And trusting that that you got a chance to get with God and yourself and the God within, and the unity between both. That's the marriage there. Okay, we don't have to do the work that's already there because Christ did it, but we have to follow the blueprint. Okay, Christ wasn't a pushover. Everybody wants to paint him just some feminine, European man sitting here and just sitting here with the soft, tender eyes, and people just no. Christ was the bad Mama Gemma, the greatest, good, purified, baddest Mama Gemma. Back can even be put in a sentence with that. God, please forgive me. But out there, like no, like rebuking demonic spirits. You think it's just cast you out? No, be real about it. You can say what you want to say, but let's be real about it. I know, I feel, I love, I trust. But let's get to that, because the trust comes within the knowing, the loving, and the growth within it. Because when you grow to have faith and grow to, you can't just, from a life of doubts or stemming on from ancestry, but, hey, I just trust this now. Oh, I just have it now. It just people, I gotta go. How do I have faith? That's already growing into understanding how you do. Knowing and loving, okay, is enough in itself. But growing in that faith-filled fueling, that love, that depth, that knowingness of the all-knowingness to what you can know from your all is enough to give that trust. I really want to have some faith steps that we really start working on, everybody. I'm going to start throwing out some challenges as well. And you can take this upon yourself to do so. And I hope that you do, because it's going to get you to the know, love, growth, and trust. I want to say know, like, and trust, because I've been learning so much in marketing, the KLTs, but it's not like, it's know, love, grow, and trust. So I'm going to write that down, put it down, maybe put it on the blog too for a download and different stuff. So everybody can get their steps ahead of them. Let me cut this right now and follow up with you on, possibly, potentially, KLGT again. I mean, it's going to be at number 2, because we're going to have to go on that. But we'll get some things going on. I just want to say that I love you. You're amazing. And remember, Christ didn't just come to sit there and tell you and teach you about that. Why be crucified? Why go through all that? It wasn't social media and cameras and all this stuff around. Like, I'm going to be seen as a martyr, but I'm going to die not knowing if I'm going to be seen as anything. No, that was true love, giving the freedom, saying, look, don't be confined. I'm here on earth. I'm telling you, I'm going through what you're going through. I'm telling you, I'm seeing what you're seeing. I see it, the temptation, the things. And I'm telling you how to have the blueprint of fasting and meditation and, the growth within, not rebuking and praying every single thing over. Oh, Lord, we know you can do it. Lord, we know. Okay, Lord, you can do it. Like, you're encouraging God to be God. Like, you're telling God to be God. Yes, I know it's a mantra that's been said before, but I mean, I'm not saying prayer is not needed. But it's the faith within the prayer, not just empty prayers. Like they said, the Pharisees or the Sadducees did in the Bible. It's not just, oh, Lord, we come before you, Lord. We need help with this, Lord. No. It's almost like, okay, well, you're basically praying to a deity that you created at that point, because you're literally speaking to, that's what they do when they light the candles and go on steps and try to bow their heads to statues. You created something you had to see. God created all of us. So let's go in faith and saying, Lord, I'm taking these steps with you. I need to know you, Lord, because that's how I know myself. I want to love you more, Lord, and understand who you are by knowing you, so I can love you and myself and love you within me. Love myself. I need to grow, Lord. Help me on this path as I navigate. And I know hiccups happen. I know things happen. I know time elapses, and you have no time. No time and space, because there's no past, present, and future for God. It just is. Help me to grow. Lord, I know you will help me to grow. I know you love me. I understand that. And as I do the will of what I know, the free will, but the purpose to make me feel completely fulfilled, because you are the creator of all things, I will grow in that and trust in you. I will trust in you and get to know and trust myself to a factor, because we still are in the flesh. But as long as we connect to the Spirit of God, we will never have a problem with trust. So this is Lexus T. Remember to be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of that amazing, powerful spirit that God has put the breath of life in us from his loins. And keep your head up. Hashtag KLGT. Part 1. We'll be back with you soon. You're amazing. Don't forget that, and start your journey to get to know that now. And look for the blueprint on Real Double Dose channel I'm going to say the email, realdoubledosechannel.com. That's always www. And we'll also have an update at www.spiritandmindelevation.com. Spirit and AND Mind, M-I-N-D, elevation.com to check up those updates. And don't worry, Lex Effect is rolling out, as well as Flip the Switch School of Learning, and so much more, as well as many other things. So we'll let you know the updates on the blog spot as well, realwchannel.blogspot.com, and any other things. SoundCloud has the links from Stitcher Radio Streaming, Google, iTunes, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify. We got it. We got it. We love you. Let me go get something to drink here so I can get some part other ones with you and the team. All right. Stay blessed. And once again, we'll be back with you very, very, very soon.